So this is an episode of Game of Thrones that I've been looking to take a look at for a while now because it connects to Elvis, as it contains a case of someone being killed as they sat on the toilet. And with the Reiner situation in the news currently, where the son killed the father, I figured what better time. And in this episode, that's the son, and he shoots his father twice with a crossbow as he sits on the so-called throne. The son, played by 6'11" born Peter Hayden Dinklage. The father, played by Charles Dance, another Charles. And the episode is titled The Children, and it aired June 15th, 2014, one day after Trump's birthday. In fact, it was the day after his 68th birthday, when he turned exactly 816 months old. And of course, Elvis died on 8/16. And if you include the 1, you get your 611 numbers. Now, Charles Dance played Tywin Lannister, which is very close to the word twin. Of course, Elvis was a twin. His twin Jesse died at birth. And Dinklage played his estranged son, Tyrion. And right off the bat, we get an epic score, as going from that episode's air date to Reiner being murdered by his son. 4,200 days. Elvis died at the age of 42. We also have our 5/29 JFK birthday right here. And 11 plus 5 plus 29 is 45. Trump, of course, the 47 president. And we also get our huge occultic 137 number, which, if you say it like they do in the UK, is 13/7, Trump's ear clip date. And 137 plus 29 is 166. 66, your twin number, add the 1, it's 67, which equals Elvis, Jesse, Water. This episode of the show all about the son killing his father as he's sitting on the toilet. Elvis died at the age of 42 on the toilet. And as the 137th day of the year is May 17th, going 29 days beyond that date, we land on June 15th, which is this episode's air date. And it gets better, because going from Charles Dance's birth date to Peter Dinklage's, 80 days. And 82 plus 80 is 162. The 162nd day of the year is 6/11. Now, that's pretty damning in and of itself, but when you do 8 times 2, it's 16. So 16, 8, 8, 16, Elvis's death date. And if you just want to add 8 to 2, that's 10 for your 108 or your 18 Elvis birth date. So this line alone gives us our 162 611 number, our Elvis death date, and our Elvis birth date all together. And of course, he was born on 6/11. And he killed his character on the toilet. Of course, the way this typically works is these are each their own thing. Like when you're doing date numerology, it would be 10 plus 10 plus 19 plus 46. But in this case, this 2 times this 8 would also be an 816 forward. So it's both Elvis's death date forward and backwards. Going from the actor named Charles, who portrayed the character Tywin, very close to twin, who gets killed on the toilet by his son Tyrion, born on 6/11. And just 8 plus 2 plus 8 is also 18. Down here we have 22 years, 8 months, 1 day. 228. Remember, Elvis died on the 228th day of the year. Backwards 18. Also 81. The 81st day of the year is 322. Your skull and bones. Add them up. Get Charlie Kirk's death age. 31. And Tywin was played by a guy named Charles. And he was shot while sitting down, albeit with a crossbow. And I can take it further. I don't know if people like it when I take it further or if they just prefer me to get to the point. But just to show you this, 82 times 80 is 6560. So the comma would be here. So 5 plus 6 is 11. 611. And 8 times 2 times 8 is 128. The 128th day of the year is 5/8. Erica Charlie wedding date, the Stand premiere date, etc. Over here, 1182 weeks, 6 days. 2 times 8 is 16, so this would be your backwards, upside down 9/11/01. Of course, if you add 6 to this, it's 1188. And it just keeps going on. But again, I'm just showing you how the numbers always add up. Now, before I go any further with connections to 6/11, 8/4, etc., I'm going to show you that Charles Dance was in Alien 3, and he was killed off when the alien, well, basically stuck its inner mouth through his skull, so via a head wound. And look at when it came out. May 22nd, 1992. What date have I talked about ad nauseum on my channel? 5/22. So we've got another one here. And I'll show you that bit here real quick. Right in the head. And just to show you how truly supernatural all this really is, going from Charles Dance, birth date, same year as Trump, I might add, to 5/22/1992 when Alien 3 was released. 16,661 days. 6 plus 1 is 7. 6 plus 6 plus 1 is 13. 7/13, Trump's ear clip date. And Charles Dance got the head wound in Alien 3, released on 5/22, Memphis's founding date, the Tower Sacrifice episode of Buffy the Gift air date, Trump visiting Jerusalem in 2017 date. And he also played Tywin Lannister, who was killed on the toilet by his 6/11 born son. connecting to both Elvis and Trump. And this number is also a mirror, or a palindrome. 16661. 16661, both ways, with a 666 right in the middle. 16 plus 661 is also 677. Both your 67 Elvis Water Jesse number and your 77 Elvis Death Year number, World Trade Center Pentagon number, along with your backwards 76 George Bush Jr. birth date. And of course, anyone who knows about 216, aka 84, knows that 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. I put the ones there, but you know they're meaningless. I just put them there for posterity's sake. So yes, this is 100% supernatural connections. And no, I'm not saying the Holy Spirit is leading me to these things. I don't make predictions. I follow Garo's work, yes, but I don't actually make predictions of my own. I just follow where the information takes me. And if this isn't supernatural information, I don't know what is. I mean, the connections from what I've already shown alone in the short time this video's been on are endless. And to further show that, we also have our 45 years. Remember, Trump is the 45-47 president, with our 12-7 or Buildings 127 numbers. Not to mention that Trump is the 45-47 president. And also don't forget that the 217 is the weapons number. The film released on 8/8, the Lionsgate portal date, with Gladys Lilly, the character who is a perfect 4-cipher match and more for Trump, which I think lends major credence to the idea that Trump comes back on 8/8. And we also get another Trump, the 45-47 president, with our 12-7 number. And remember that if you include the end date, these 7/12s become 7/13s, Trump ear clip dates. Also worth mentioning the plot. Ellen Ripley is the only survivor when she crash lands on Fiorina 161. There's your 611 number. Now, if we go from Charles Dance's birth date to 8/4 next year, 2 plus 9 is 11. 1 plus 5 plus 3 is 9. You're backwards 9/11. Of course, 153 plus 29 is 182, which can be either a 110 or a backwards 611, depending on if you add the 8 to the 2 or multiply them. And 29 times 153 is 4437, both your kill number and your EL number. Trump possibly taken out to become their god when Elvis enters into him. Hypothetically. Down here we have our backwards 5/29 JFK birth date. And yes, Trump is currently 79 years old, but he will not be that old on 8/4/2026. So since we read this backwards, we count it as a 97. The 97th day of the year is 4/7. Trump, of course, the 45-47 president. And if you want to go 97 days past JFK's birth date, it lands on 9/3. Claire Kramer's birth date. Remember, she is in the 5/22 Tower Sacrifice episode of Buffy. She is the one wanting to sacrifice Dawn to open the portal. 957 plus 25 is 982. Of course, 8 plus 2 is 10. This could be a 910 Charlie Kirk. But it's also a backwards Golden Gate Bridge birthday, which we've been finding a lot of lately. With a 59. The 59th day of the year, of course, is 228. Elvis died on the 228th day of the year. And if we go 59 days past 527, wouldn't you know that we land on the backwards 527, July 25th? What are the odds of that? We also have over here a backwards 614 Trump birthday with a 4-5 for Trump's first presidency. Now going from Dance's birth date to 6/11 next year, 29,099 days. 29 plus 99 is your 128. Again, the 128th day of the year is 5/8. And the 128th prime, of course, is 7/19, July 19th, Trump's reverse birth date. Also, 2 plus 9 is 11. 9 plus 9 is 18. 11/18. And November 18th just so happens to be the 322nd day of the year for your skull and bones number. There's also the fact that 29 times 99 equals 2871. 8 plus 7 plus 1 is 16. 2, 16. 8, 4, yet again. Again, I don't always have to show you all of this. If it gets boring, let me know in the comments. But it's interesting how the numbers always add up, no matter what. It's also 79 years, 8 months, 1 day. 79 plus 8 plus 1 is your 88 Portal Trump infinity number. And Trump, of course, will still be 79 when 6/11 rolls around. Interesting to note that we also have a backwards 165 here. Trump's birth date is the 165th day of the year. And of course, the 59th day of the year, again, is 228. Also worth noting that Charles Dance was born 119 days after Donald Trump. You're backwards 9/11, of course. And if we go back around in a single year, and yes, I used 2025 and 2026 because I know for a fact that they aren't leap years. I don't know which years were leap years in the past off the top of my head. 8 months, 4 days, your big 8-4 number. Also 247 days. Now on leap years, 9/3 is the 247th day of the year, Claire Kramer's birth date. But on a regular year, it's the 246th. And we also have 35 weeks, 2 days. You're backwards 253. 9/10 Charlie Kirk is the 253rd day of the year. And you have your twin 67 numbers for Elvis and Jesse. And no, as it turns out, 1947 was not a leap year, but it makes for quicker and more accurate videos when you know for sure and don't have to look it up. But as you can see, all the numbers are the same. If we go from Dance's birth to the air date of the Children episode where he is killed on the toilet, 812 months, 5 days. This is your backwards 5/21 Pearl Harbor premiere date. And 8 days after that is 5/29, your JFK birth date yet again. Also, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 7 is 14. August 14th is the 226th day of the year. Trachtenberg death date 226. And 24 plus 720 is 744. You're 47 with your 44 kill number. Your 67 Elvis Jesse water number. with your backwards 5-8 date, or your 8-5, which is the 217th day of the year, your 217 weapons number, your 12-7, and buildings 127 number. Now getting back to Rob Reiner, since he was the father killed by the son, and in the Game of Thrones episode, Dance was the father killed by the son. From his birth to his birth on 3/6, 147 days. Once again, your Golden Gate Bridge birth date is the 147th day of the year. Seeing a lot of those lately. 42 forwards, 42 backwards. And since Dance's name is Charles, and of course the Charlie Kirk thing with Charles, going from his birth date to the Charlie Kirk event, we have a backwards 5/28 here. Not only is that my birth date, but it is Donnie Darko's birth date, which connects to Trump. And 2 times 8 is 16, so it's going to be another 8/16 Elvis death date included. Also exactly 947 months. The 947th prime is 7481. 7 plus 4 is 11. 8 plus 1 is 9. Backwards 9/11. And we can't not go from Charles Dance's birth date to Elvis's death date for obvious reasons. So 11,268 days. 6 plus 8 plus 2 is 16. 11/16. You're backwards, upside down, 9/11/01. But also, if you just want to leave this as 16, 1 plus 1, that would be your 2/16/8/4. And if you go from Elvis's birth to Charles Dance's birth, 4,293 days. 4 plus 2 is 6. 9 plus 3 is 12. Your 6/12 George Bush Sr. birth date, or your backwards 2/16/8/4. So you get it going both to his birth date from Elvis's birth date and from his birth date to Elvis's death date. Also 11 years, 9 months, 2 days, perhaps pointing to 2 9/11s. And 141 times 2 equals 282. Skull and Bones was founded on the 282nd day of the year, and 282 can be both 162 or 216, depending on which 8 you multiply by 2. Now if we go from Elvis's birth date to 6/11 born Peter Dinklage's, 34 plus 5 plus 3 is 42, his death age. And 413 plus 3 is 416, your backwards 6/14 Trump birth date. And here you have your backwards 37 EL number with your backwards 5/21 Pearl Harbor premiere date. And from Dinklage's birth to Elvis's death, 2 plus 9 is 11, 8 plus 8 is 16, 11/16, again your backwards, upside down 9/11/01 number. And right here, 8 times 2 is 16, 165, Trump born on the 165th day of the year. Now from Trump's birth to Dinklage's birth, we have a backwards 11/22 JFK assassination date. Remember, Dinklage was the assassin, and 2 times 8 is 16, so this would be your backwards. And upside down, 9/11. And 275 plus 28 is 303 for your 33. And 1199 plus 5 is 1204, or your backwards 421 Seattle Space Needle opening date. Multiply these numbers by each other. You get 1728, and 17 plus 28 is your 45. Now look what we get if we go from Reiner's birth date to Dinklage's. A backwards 322 Skull and Bones, and 5 days before 322 would be 317, that big 137 number, 713 number. Also, our 1161 weeks and 6 days, we have our backwards 611, upside down 91101. Add 6 to that, it's 1167. And the percentage of a common year, our 222 Order Out of Chaos has above so below number, along with our 228 Elvis died on the 228th day of the year, both forwards and backwards. And since Dinklage is the son in the father-son murder scenario, going from his birth date to Nick Reiner's, 8861 days. Not only do we have our 88 number, of course, 8 plus 8 is 16, 6 plus 1 is 7. And the 167th prime number is 991. 9 plus 9 is 18. So it's going to be your 18 and your 81 both. Of course, remember that the 81st day of the year is 322. And 88 plus 61 is 149. The 149th day of the year is JFK's birth date. We also have our 33 with our backwards 42. And if we go from Dinklage's birth to the date of the actual murders, 20,640 days. 640 plus 20 is 660, your 66 twin number. If we go from Dinklage's birth to 8-4 next year, 8 plus 7 plus 3 is 18, so this would be a 218. The 218th prime number is 1361. 1 plus 3 is 4, 6 plus 1 is 7, 4-7 for Trump's current presidency. And we also have a backwards 421 Space Needle opening date, as well as 175 517, the 137th day of the year. And interestingly, if you go 75 days beyond the Space Needle opening date, you land on 7-5. So you go 75 and you land on 7-5. I remember the backwards 7-5, 5-7, 57th day of the year is 226, Michelle Trachtenberg's death date. Which brings me to Dinklage's age on 6/11 next year, exactly 57 years old. Again, the 57th day of the year, Trachtenberg's death date. We also have 8-4 forwards, 8-6 backwards. Also, the name of the Game of Thrones episode, The Children, gives us our 282. Remember, Skull and Bones was founded on the 282nd day of the year, and this can be both your 162 or 216. Tywin, which is very close to twin, our 44 kill number. Tyrion, our 66 twin number. And he killed him with a crossbow, your 33, your 612, backwards 216, your 10-2 Donnie Darko prophecy date, 102nd day of the year, Shannon Doherty birth date. And to finally finish this off, by the way, like I said, it aired on 6/15, which is the 166th day of the year, but the day prior, Trump's birthday, is the 165th day of the year, and those are like the same numbers, 165. But anyway, from the air date to 8-4 next year, 44, 33 days. You got your 44 kill number and your 33. 4 plus 4 is 8, 3 plus 3 is 6, 86, like might happen to Trump on that date. And 44 plus 33 equals 77, your Elvis death year number, your World Trade Center Pentagon number. 12 plus 1 plus 20 is your 33. Also, don't forget that 120, not only is that Epstein's birth date, but it's also the date that Trump was sworn into office this year. And 145 plus 20 equals 165. Trump was born on the 165th day of the year. See how it all comes full circle. So yeah, this was a longer decode because this was a deeper dive than I initially thought it'd be. But anyway, all glory to God, and thank you for watching.